So here we go with another IGCSE Maths question, and this one is about circle theorems. Such questions are sometimes very hard, and students spend a lot of time trying to figure out what kind of theorem, which theorem should they apply to solve the question. Well, it's not different. It's not different than this one. However, if you notice, you're only going to use one theorem to solve both angles which are asked. So you're asked about angles x and y. Angle x is this one, which is touching. If we label those points A and B, here's C. So this angle ACB is angle y. Now, take a look at this theorem. It might not seem like it, but that's exactly the theorem that we're going to use. Now let me show you something. So usually students expect this theorem to be applicable in shapes that look like this. And in our problem, those would be points A and B, and this would be our point C. Here. Now, imagine that I move those points up, A and B. How would this shape turn out to be? Well, we would have our center here. So point A and B, they would be here now. Point C is still here. So look how the shape starts to look like something that we are familiar now. It looks like our question, doesn't it? But let's investigate the angles that we should know, and how are they going to be carried over when we move those points. So this theorem basically tells us that this angle, which is here at the center of our circle, will be twice the angle which is touching the border. When we move those points, this here will be our angle, 2x, and this will be our angle x. So now we have to identify in our problem what are those. So this is our angle to, well, in this case, y, right? Because this is the angle that is being made touching the point that is going through, touching the border, and this is the angle that is going to be twice that. Now, if this angle is 140 AOB, to find what would be the rest of this angle, we would need the reflex. So since I would have to add up something to 140 to get 360, the angle that we're looking for is 220. So if 2y is 220, y is 110. Now for angle x here, it's exactly the same theorem. This point is touching the border, and this point is in the middle. So this angle x will be half of 140. Therefore, x is 70. If it's hard for you to visualize, now let me show you another movement of our points. So going through our center and touching here. But now let me do the opposite. Let's go back from this situation to the original one. So if we move this point across the perimeter of our circumference, we would get to this situation. And again, this angle is 2 times this angle. Therefore, this angle x in our original picture is going to be half of 140, therefore 70 degrees.